back to the Fresh Life Podcast. We are so excited that you decided to join us. And we are going to do a little short segment on the Ayesha Curry trending topic. So we just watched the Red Table Talk. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say because we haven't talked about it yet. So do you want to just give the people a little backdrop if they're not familiar with what's going on?
She was asked a question about how do you deal with Steph Curry's, it was a kind of a two-part situation as far as what caused it to be trending. One part of it was, how do you deal with, Steph, well, I guess she asked the family, well, how do you deal with the groupie aspect of things, and all the attention and all the women? And, the mother at first, Steph Curry's mom has stated that she kind of just would let it kind of happen to a degree. Like she was just around it.
Right. She didn't mind it.
She kind of managed
if women were checking for her man, then she felt really good about that because that's my man and he do look good and, check for him. But as long as
it was respectful
and it didn't get carried away or he wasn't flirting back, she was kind of like letting it be.
Which is a weird space to me because she liked the fact that he was getting his attention,
right?
But he couldn't give any attention back. That's a very weird space to be. So I think if you're gonna stand back and allow attention to come to someone, then you're telling them to kind of just be like docile about it, like they're not, like they almost can't pretend like attention's not coming their way.
Well, what you gonna do about it? It's my thing. Like
make a rule. She could easily make a rule that we don't entertain anyone like that. But that's hard to do when you're on television.
Right. I don't think he was entertaining it though. Like if a woman would come up to him and maybe compliment him or whatever, he says thank you. I
think it's larger than that. I think it's it's talking about some people that they know mutually. It's talking about situation.
No, she said they were in a club.
Oh, that's very easy to do. Like we talking about somebody mutually, you having some drinks or whatever it might be, and she's talking to somebody else. Like she ain't crazy. Like she know that this dude, they out together at this club. He got on all the jewelry and he just came off of a game. Like that's real attention. That's real energy. And she sat back, not being controlling, just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna be around enough, and he know me. Like he knows who I am, and so he knows where I am, and he's gonna, hopefully respect that. And I guess she's only saying that she's gonna step in if the other person gets beyond that.
Right.
But again, I think that just sounds like you're playing against human. You're playing against this human nature aspect that where there's room, there's going to be growth.
Yeah.
And if you allow that room to take place, then naturally somebody's gonna say something that might be out of pocket,
right? Or
he might give a little extra attention than you wanted him to,
right?
So,
right, I agree.
I think it's a very weird space that that's coming from. But Ayesha Curry, stated that, basically what she stated was it was an issue to her. But I don't think it was like an inner issue. I don't think it was an issue with Steph.
Right.
It was an issue with herself. Like the issue that she has with the situation is really that she's not getting any attention.
Right. Right. And that she deals with it with her husband. Like she knows like there's a lot of people who her husband has groupies and she's used to that and used to women like flaunting over her husband or just being excited to be around him, but that she doesn't receive any of that type of attention, that men are not necessarily checking for her. So, but what made that so controversial?
Well, because I think that is that what women go through? Like now you're in a relationship and men have always seemed to find themselves in a situation where they're getting attention. And then single women find themselves in a space where they're getting attention from men, married men, single men. But married women, the question then becomes, is anybody even trying to be hearing what Ayesha's saying?
Right. Well, I think it's controversial, in my opinion, because he's right now in the finals. Well, he was at the time. He was in the middle of his finals, right? And so it's like you're selfish for
Wow.
saying this at this moment of time when he is trying to win a championship. So you're distracting him, you're distracting the team, and you're basically saying that you want male attention to your husband while he is, trying to take care of some business. So it was just really poor timing.
That's how I
took it.
I wasn't
going controversial.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's controversial.
I mean, why would it be? What other reason would be controversial? Because she's saying like, I want male attention.
Right, because I think that she's a married woman, and what I think it is that Ayesha Curry she has a history throughout the playoffs of bringing attention back to herself.
Okay, so yeah.
So I think some of that comes into play.
This is a little bit of why they're so hard on her right now.
It's a little bit of shade, you know, that some people don't like Ayesha Curry because she's outspoken. You know, she reminds me of John Legend's wife a lot. Just very outspoken and protective of their husbands.
Okay.
And so she reminds me of John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen, in that same way. But I think what's controversial is, should she be looking for the attention? Because remember, men are criticized for this very reason.
Yeah.
But I understand what she means. She wants to make sure it feels good to know you still got it.
It's nice to know that you still got it.
But listen, does the still got it is it only relevant because you're single? Why is the still got it important
when you're married?
Because on a human aspect, you want to know that you are attractive, and I think that we take our spouse for granted. That happens. Anything around you become familiar with, especially your spouse, you become too familiar with. But then you want to there's something in you that wants to know that I'm still attractive, and this person, they're gonna say I'm attractive. They think I'm beautiful, but if a stranger think I'm beautiful, then I really still must be beautiful.
Right. I think it's exactly what you just said. Like, my spouse, like, Chris, you're going to, like, if y'all watch my live, on my live, Chris just going off real hard about today, about how beautiful I look. So if you guys are listening and you happen to catch it this particular day, Chris is going off on my live, on Instagram Live, about how beautiful I look. And my husband does that for me all the time. I mean, we just went to breakfast today. Across from the table, he's telling me how beautiful I am. And I hear that from him all the time. I appreciate what he's saying. I believe what he's saying. At the same time, I'm his wife. I take care of him. I hold down his entire house. I oversee our boys.
House.
I said his house. Mm-hmm. See? I oversee our boys. I'm a huge asset in his life, right? And I know who I am to him. So I'm beautiful on the inside and out to him, right? And so when he's saying I'm beautiful, a lot of times I always take that as like my looks, like me being pretty or whatever. But when I am not dressed and I got my hair wrapped and he still telling me I'm beautiful, he want to take a picture of me, like, and I'm like looking crazy in my opinion, I know it's like, okay, this man just really loved me, right? So I can 1,000,000% in all transparency agree and feel Ayesha Curry, because men don't check for me.
I mean, okay,
and
so wait.
I felt her 1,000,000%. Now, being somebody like Ayesha Curry, for example, I think that she thinks that she's beautiful, right? I think that I'm beautiful. I think I'm a pretty girl showing up in the world, right? I'm not really thinking like I'm lacking in that area. And even when I was single, men didn't check for me. I was single, independent. I had, in my opinion, had my own car. Like, you know what I mean? Like a nice car at that. Like, men wasn't checking for me either. So I'm not the girl who gets hit on a lot. I'm not the girl who get whistled at. I'm not the girl who men try to rub up on. And I don't have my ring on half the time. Like, I always forget it at home. So.
Oh, y'all ready for this? So here's the thing. Watch this. This is so good. I think that men give off easier what they think is easier. So if they think that it's easy to obtain, then you're going to get more of an approach, right? Okay. I mean, that's why the car lot at JD Byrider, a cheap car lot, is going to be more filled with people than the Mercedes car lot.
Okay.
Everybody can't check for the Mercedes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, they know inside that they don't qualify for the Mercedes, so they don't even drive on the lot. So even though you are this beautiful person, you don't give off a used car sense. So people don't approach you.
Speaking life over me.
People don't. People are not going to approach what they can't obtain.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now, if there was, some brother who was confident, was maybe a multi-millionaire, and he knew himself and he was confident, he may not have an issue approaching you because he knows that he has tremendous value. Even if you were married, he may not care.
Right.
But at the same time, that's not a lot of guys.
Exactly.
It's a small few. And most of the time, I'm not saying most of the time, I would say that women, especially in the summer season when, you're wearing certain clothing, men tend to think that it's okay to approach those women because of their clothing and still mistake that just because of her clothes that she don't have value. And so you still get told off, you still get embarrassed. So I'm telling you right now, the fact that men don't approach you says a lot about you, even when you're wearing your dresses in the summer. Like you carry something about you that says, I could wear, this outfit and it don't mean that you got the opportunity to flirt with me.
Right. That's good. 2 points I want to make from that. Number one is also, where am I really to get hit on, right? Like, the grocery store is not really a great opportunity to get hit on.
Not over zucchini.
Not over.
Well, ha! Now, zucchini.
You don't want to check for me in the zucchini aisle when the zucchini is nice and plump.
To be in the zucchini aisle.
Okay, but no, seriously. So I'm not, and same thing I think with Ayesha too, that she has to remember is she's not in places probably a lot of times where it's like a good opportunity to get hit on. Like, is she often at the bar by herself? Probably not. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not at the bar by myself. I'm not out at the club by myself a lot. Or ever in that case. So like, I'm not really in those type of situations. And when I am out and about, I got my man right next to me. So
that's not always true though.
Either I'm with a group of girls, right?
I'm saying, how does it go when you're out with your girls and y'all are at, at Bar Louie or something?
Somebody might just come over like and say, y'all are a beautiful group of women. We all just like, oh, thanks. But like, we're not really feeding into it, so it just probably won't go far. But the other thing I was going to say...
But do you notice it? I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
Do you notice? Like, I think that, like...
But you calling me beautiful ain't doing nothing for me.
It's like how Jada said in the interview,
so
you turned off your radar.
Yes, I'm probably not even really paying attention to it because you calling me beautiful is not... It's just something that, like, it's right here, like, you're not really saying anything that's, like,
new to you.
Yeah, or, like, twinkling my ears or anything. So, like, it's just like, thank you, like, with a nice smile and just keep it moving. And then if there's any other conversation...
What's somebody got to say to really get your attention? Like, does somebody got to say, you sexy as hell?
Yeah, probably.
See? Okay, so now somebody got your attention.
Something like that, be like what he seen?
They be like, damn, like you thick. So now somebody got your attention.
No, now I'm mad though. Now
you mad.
Yeah, at that point you being disrespectful.
See, okay.
Yeah, like,
see
I'm
the fine.
thick.
This is the fine line.
Yeah, like, cause you just thinking about me sexually.
But watch this. Here's a question. This is so good. Now, many people, especially in 2019, it's so hard to have this conversation.
You gotta look up there.
Because everybody's so scared to have this conversation.
Okay.
Not the conversation, but when the topic comes, they get real feminist, on everything, and it becomes very like you gotta walk on eggshells. I'm saying that when a woman gets dressed, because when I get dressed, I look in the mirror and know what I'm giving off. Like, I know it. Like, I know. Like, when I put on a suit, like a certain tie, and my I got a certain color suit on, like my haircut is fresh, I got my watch and jewels on. Like, I know when I look in the mirror that I am giving off an essence of confidence, of power, of prestige. Like, I walk a little different. Like, and I know that I expect that not only for myself to feel that way, but I know that you probably feel that way when you see me. So my question is, why can't it be, and here's the thing, I'm not asking you to succumb to how I'm dressed, like, because I feel powerful or confident or, or whatever, that I'm asking you to have some type of subordination to me because I feel that way. I'm just saying that's how I feel. And if you were to compliment me in such fashion, I would understand that. My question is
real powerful. What am I supposed to
Well,
say?
I mean, like, more so like, man, like,
you
bro,
look really
like,
good.
bro, you look great,
They
man.
would say, bro, that's a guy
Okay, fair.
complimenting you.
I'm like, wow, you look very handsome. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
you look really nice.
Or people would think that if you're at an event that maybe you're the focal point of the event.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, if a woman gets dressed and she wears something that is more form-fitting than her normal attire, and we know that by nature men are visual, what is the response that we're looking for when we get dressed? Not response, maybe what are you looking in the mirror saying to yourself? That's a better question.
Nah, I look really good.
Where?
All over.
Why did you wear this dress versus the one that's flowy?
Because it's probably like more fitting for the evening. Like I'm going out to dinner or I'm going to a cocktail hour or something like that. So I chose the more form-fitting dress.
Fair enough.
But
does a woman know that this dress might bring more attention than the other one?
Yes. Yes.
Is she okay with that trade-off?
Yes. But that doesn't mean that you have to vocalize it in the words of, dang, you thick.
Fair enough.
Like you can look a little
Yes.
I understand
Yes.
you looking a second longer. I even understand your head turn a little bit. Like that's fine. And then you might want to speak to me or greet me. Like I'm fine with all of that. But I feel like you crossed the line when you use a term that is sexual.
Agreed.
And thick, in my opinion, would be a term like that.
Agreed. I agree.
So, in that case, I would be like, I'm married. Thanks. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
That'll be it.
Can we have had this conversation? I'm sorry, another tangent.
No, it's okay.
It's such a deep tangent.
Okay, is it a deep tangent? Because I just wanted to say another thing about
I'm gonna raise a real question.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to say something?
No, I forgot what I was.
Once I go down this way, it ain't gonna coming back.
It ain't no coming back.
Uh-uh.
I had 2 points about that, about her probably not being in places, and okay, forgot it. Go ahead.
Okay, I think I might save this for the next podcast.
Okay.
I think I might do that.
So we're gonna end this.
We're gonna end the next podcast. I am going to talk about.
Okay, wait. Before you say that, okay, go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead. Just cut it. No.
All right. So I think to wrap this up about Ayesha Curry, I feel like all she was just trying to say is that she just wants to still feel like she got it. Like, oh, this is what I'm gonna say. Why is it that? Because Ayesha's probably in places where people know that she's Ayesha Curry, that she's married to Steph Curry, right? So she's at the games. She's a wife. She's, doing her chef thing, doing her cover girl thing, dropping off the kids.
She's a public figure.
But people know that she's married. But she's also saying in that same sentence, people know that my husband is married. And despite these women knowing that he's married, they still throw themselves at him. And why do women still feel that they can throw themselves at a married man, but it seems as if married men are not doing that towards a married woman?
I have the answer to that question.
And I think that's too what she was trying to say. Like, yeah, people know he married, they still flock all over him. People know I'm married, and it's like,
I have the answer to that question.
And what do you think the answer is?
The answer to that question is this. Men have historically succumb to the request of women. So women know this. Like women know this. Like no matter if Steph is wealthy, he's famous, he has everything that a woman would desire outwardly, right? So him being married is just more so like a lock they gotta pick. You know what I mean? Like they gotta figure out the right combination to pick that lock.
To jump over that little hurdle.
No. But normally, they don't have enough time or access to be able to do so. So they throw the best thing they can at them to see if they can get the lock pick. They throw the lock against the ground. They try to explode the lock, whatever they can do to quickly get the lock open. Women, though, seem to be more loyal in the relationship aspect because the relationship aspect brings security for women. So therefore, women are much more slow to let that part go. So when men come and approach them that way, I would say a larger percent of women see that as a threat to their security than anything else. And they're more loyal to that security in that and where that love comes from in their family than they are a handsome face.
So therefore, men know that about women. Therefore, they don't really approach married women.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, that's a good theory.
That's a good theory. You know, and you'll find that if a woman makes herself available, then that's the difference. Like if she could be married, single, widowed, at the funeral, it don't matter.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if that space is open, then that's where men, you know, I think that's just I think that's just how men are. That's how I think men are. I'm not saying like every man. I'm saying just in a general sense. I think that's why you find that though.
Yeah. Well, I just also feel like there's too many Tatianas out there too.
Right. You talk to your sisters. I think some of this
can I say
something?
To my sisters.
So much of this conversation goes towards men. Go talk to the Tatianas.
You're right. Why
everybody talking to the men?
And I totally agree with you that that ladies, that is a married man.
I think it's a good conversation to have.
No matter what their level of power and success is, they are still married, and that needs to be honored. And so anyways, but just to fast forward, I just feel like Ayesha is just saying she just wants to know that she still got it. It'll be nice if somebody show her a little attention. And I think because she said that is what created the controversial conversation about it, that people are just like, that's really selfish of her to bring this up at a time like this. But I just feel like, honestly, I think she deserves a lot of grace because she's sitting around at the red table with all her people. The show, I know, only aired for 30 minutes, but they was probably taping for an hour, 2 hours, and it was a lot that got cut off. So she's just talking and being vulnerable. I think what she said much bigger things than that. I think that part was very small and should not have made as much of attention as it got. Like at the end of the day, all she's just saying is like, I just want to know that I still got it. Like, you know, and I think every woman kind of desires that. Like,
married women don't say that.
Married women probably don't say it, but they think it. Like, it's nice to know that I still got it. It's nice to know that you turning your head at me. It's nice to know that you complimented me. It's nice to know, you know, and maybe I'm not perfect in what I'm saying right now. Maybe this is not the best advice, but I too understand where she's coming from. It's nice to know that I still got it. It's nice to know that, you know, I'm walking by and somebody like, oh, she pretty. You know what I mean? And that makes me feel good. So anyway, so also, but for them to talk about mental health awareness, about the anxiety, about Ayesha opening up that she takes medication. I mean, how liberating is that to know that we're not, that a lot of people, I know, including myself, are not the only people out there that suffers with anxiety. They talked about, you know, generational knowledge and passing on knowledge, and like the grandmother trying not to meddle in her kids' relationships and marriages. I think that was a very good take home and a very good key. Like, listen, I know so much that I can come off as a know-it-all, and me coming off as a know-it-all will push my kids away. Like, just that wisdom I thought was great. I mean, I think the conversation has so much more depth about the racial biases, about being not being black enough for this crew and not being white enough for this crew. Like, I feel like y'all got caught up on that. Like, I was kind of disappointed once I watched the entire thing that's what people got caught up on.
Fair enough.
So thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Fresh Life. I'm excited to see what our next episode topic is. Chris got it covered. But thank you guys for everything. Again, you can purchase the journals. They are out at thefreshlifebrand.com. They are still on sale. They're only $16 right now for Mother's Day. So you still have a chance to take care of that.
You can even find them on Amazon.com.
Yes. Thanks, baby. Our engineer hooked all that up for us. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day.